Number 7. Man, this looks like a beast. And I guess it kind of is. If you look at this, first off, this side has one fraction. Awesome. This side has two fractions. Not so awesome. We got to put these guys together. Notice this is x plus 1. This is x minus 1. You can't cancel things. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you can't cancel 3's. That doesn't work that way. All right. And I tell you, I've done a bajillion of these things, it seems like. And if this is x minus 1, and this is x plus 3, I just about guarantee this over here is going to be factoring. If you factor this out, it's going to be these two terms, these two binomials. Let's check that out and see if that works. Two numbers that multiply to give you -3. That's what this number and this number needs to be. But it also has to combine to give you a +2. Yeah, see? It works. 3 minus 1 is 2, and 3 times -1 is -3. So I'm going to write it that way. I'm going to write it out that way. I don't know why I used parentheses there. That was kind of dumb. Alright, now, I got to get these two guys together. So, this has an x plus 3. This has an x plus 3. I need it to say times x minus 1. So let's do that. Let's just say times x minus 1. If you multiply it to the bottom, you got to do it to the top. Right, so what would that give you? -3x, +3. And since I have the same denominator now, I'm just going to write +8 here. Alright, so now, let's see, these two guys will go together and give you 8, 11. I'm not going to rewrite that, just to put an 11 there, so +11. So you can cross multiply now if you'd like, but you're going to wind up with something that's a little bit more than you need to bite off, and more than you can handle maybe. And I suggest you wind up trying to get the same denominators like we've been doing, and then set the top equal. Let's try that. So this has an x minus 1. This has an x minus 1. So really all this over here needs is it being multiplied by x plus 3. So let's do that. So now you get the same denominator. Right? So let's set the tops equal. Right? You're multiplying all this by x plus 1. So I'll put both of those in parentheses now. And that's -3x plus 11. So now you can't really get away from the quadratic business because this is a quadratic. So to solve these, you have to multiply this all out, get all this over to the other side so there's a 0. You have to have 0 on one side, and then you can either factor or use the quadratic formula. So if I multiply this out, I get that, and then we combine the two middle terms. I get that. Let's add this stuff away, subtract the 11. That way I get 0 over here. That'd be -8. Alright, so now you can use a quadratic formula, but this is pretty easy to factor. I try factoring it first. Two numbers that multiply to give you -8, but we combine to give you +7. 8 and 1 come up to mind. +8 or -1. So set both these factors equal to 0 to solve it. X plus 8 equals 0. So x equals -8. Set this equal. Add the 1. X equals 1. You get two answers here. But remember, make sure that you can't get 0. So let's check -8 first. I plug a negative 8 in here, that's fine. I get negative 9. Plug in a negative 8 here, that'd be fine, right? Because negative 8 plus 3 is 5. Negative 5, so that's fine. Factored, I'm going to plug it in the factored form here. If I plug a negative 8 in here, I get negative 5 times negative 9. And it's not 0, so that's fine. X equals negative 8 is a solution, at least one solution. What about x equals 1? That was another answer we got, x equals 1, and that's a big no-no. I already see it right here. 1 minus 1 is 0. You can't have 0 in the denominator. So you only have one answer. It's x equals negative 8.